What if I told you that everything you believe about the law of attraction is incomplete? That the gurus, the books, the viral videos, they're all missing the piece that actually makes it work. I spent 90 days testing this for myself. Not casually, not half-heartedly. I went all in with daily practices, journaling, visualization, and every technique I could find. And what happened? Results that shocked me, but probably not in the way you're expecting. Because some of what I discovered confirmed everything the manifestation community preaches. And some of it completely shattered my beliefs. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what works, what doesn't, and the hidden mechanism that determines whether you'll manifest your dreams or stay stuck forever. As the great Neville Goddard once said, assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. But there's a catch nobody tells you about. Let's dive in. The experiment. Before I reveal the results, let me explain exactly what I did. This wasn't some casual experiment where I occasionally thought positive thoughts and hoped for the best. I designed a rigorous 90-day protocol based on the teachings of Napoleon Hill, Neville Goddard, Joseph Murphy, and modern manifestation coaches. Every single morning I woke up at 5:30 a.m. I spent 20 minutes in visualization, seeing my goals as already achieved. I wrote down my intentions in present tense. I listened to subliminal affirmations while working. Before bed, I practiced the state akin to sleep technique that Neville Goddard swore by. I tracked everything: my emotions, synchronicities, unexpected opportunities. I even documented my doubts and resistance. Why go this far? Because I was tired of the debate. People either swear by manifestation or dismiss it as pseudoscience. The only way to test truth is through your own experience. I wanted to know for myself. And here's what most people don't realize: the law of attraction isn't about magic. It's about psychology, neuroscience, and the reticular activating system in your brain. But does that make it any less powerful? Let me show you what happened in week 1. Week 1 shock. The first week was brutal, and I mean that. You see, nobody tells you about the resistance that surfaces when you start changing your mental patterns. Day 1 felt amazing. I was motivated, excited, ready to manifest everything I'd ever wanted. Day 2, a little harder. By day 4, every limiting belief I'd ever held came crashing to the surface. Thoughts like, "This is stupid. You're wasting your time. Rich people get rich through luck and connections, not visualization." My mind was fighting back against the new programming. This is what psychologists call cognitive dissonance. When your new beliefs conflict with your old identity, your brain literally tries to pull you back to familiar territory. It's a survival mechanism, but here's where the first breakthrough happened. On day 6, something shifted. I received an unexpected email from a client I hadn't heard from in 2 years. They wanted to work together again. Coincidence? Maybe, but it was the first of many coincidences that would stack up over the coming weeks. And that's when I realized something crucial about how manifestation actually works. The real secret. Here's what nobody in the manifestation community talks about honestly. The law of attraction isn't really about attraction at all. Awareness, that's the actual mechanism. When you visualize your goals daily, when you write them down, when you affirm them, you're not sending signals to the universe. You're reprogramming your reticular activating system, the part of your brain that filters what you notice from the millions of data points around you. Think about it. Have you ever bought a new car and suddenly started seeing that exact car everywhere? The cars were always there. Your brain just started filtering them in because they became relevant to you. This is exactly what happens with opportunities, connections, and resources. They exist around you right now, but your brain is filtering them out because they don't match your current beliefs about what's possible for you. As the great William James, father of American psychology, wrote, "The greatest discovery of my generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind." The 90-day experiment wasn't about manifesting from thin air. It was about rewiring my perception. And that changes everything. What failed? Now here's where I have to be brutally honest with you. Not everything worked. In fact, some of the most popular manifestation techniques completely failed for me. Affirmations in front of the mirror. They felt fake and uncomfortable. My brain knew I was lying to myself, and it created more resistance, not less. Saying, "I am a millionaire," when your bank account shows otherwise just triggers your logical mind to reject the statement. The 369 method. I tried it for 3 weeks straight. Wrote my desire 3 times in the morning, 6 times in the afternoon, 9 times at night. Zero results. Actually, worse than zero, it started feeling like homework, which killed the emotional charge that's supposed to power manifestation. Emotion is the fuel, and this brings me to what actually did work. Because the techniques that moved the needle had one thing in common. They weren't about forcing belief or mechanical repetition. They were about generating authentic feeling, the feeling of already having what you want, not intellectually understanding it, feeling it in your body. Dr. Joe Dispenza's research confirms this. Emotion is the language of the subconscious mind. And when I shifted from thinking about my goals to feeling them, everything changed. But it took a specific method to get there. The feeling hack. The technique that actually worked came from combining two approaches that aren't typically taught together. First, I started using memory as a bridge to feeling. Instead of trying to imagine something I'd never experienced, I'd recall a moment when I felt incredibly successful, abundant, or proud. A real memory. My graduation day. Landing my first big client. The moment I achieved something I'd worked hard for. Imagination is more important than knowledge, for imagination embraces the entire world. Then, and this is crucial, while holding that feeling in my body, I'd mentally attach my current goal to it. I wasn't pretending. I was borrowing a real feeling and applying it to a future vision. The second part was what I call evidence journaling. Every night I'd write down 3 pieces of evidence that my manifestation was working, not the big wins, the tiny signals, a positive thought I had, a moment of confidence, a small synchronicity. This trained my brain to look for proof of success instead of proof of failure. And you know what your brain does when you give it a search command. It finds exactly what you're looking for. By week 4, I was noticing opportunities I'd completely missed before. The dark side. But I need to warn you about something the manifestation industry doesn't talk about. The dark side of this practice. Around week 5, I hit what I can only describe as a manifestation crisis. I became obsessed with controlling my thoughts. Every negative thought felt like I was sabotaging my future. I'd catch myself thinking something doubtful and immediately spiral into anxiety about what I'd just attracted. This is spiritual bypassing at its worst. I was using manifestation as a form of thought suppression. And here's what the science says: trying to not think about something makes you think about it more. It's called the ironic process theory, studied extensively by psychologist Daniel Wegner. The solution came from an unexpected source: acceptance and commitment therapy, or ACT. Instead of fighting negative thoughts, I learned to observe them without attachment. What you resist persists. What you accept transforms. The thought, "I'll never achieve this," wasn't a command to the universe. It was just a thought, a pattern from my past. It didn't need to be fought, it needed to be witnessed and released. This mindset shift eliminated my anxiety around manifestation and ironically made the practice more effective. Month 2 shift. Month 2 is when things got interesting. By this point, my morning practice had become automatic. The resistance had faded, and I started noticing patterns I couldn't explain away as coincidence. A specific financial goal I'd been visualizing. An unexpected tax refund arrived that was within $200 of the exact amount. A career opportunity I'd written about in my journal. Someone mentioned it in conversation completely unprompted. Synchronicity began multiplying. Now a skeptic would say these things would have happened anyway, and maybe they would have. But here's what I know for certain: I noticed them. I acted on them. Before the experiment, I would have dismissed the tax refund as luck and ignored the career conversation as small talk. Instead, I followed up. I took action. And that's the piece that separates manifestation believers who get results from those who don't. The law of attraction isn't a vending machine where you insert thoughts and receive outcomes. It's a system that heightens your awareness, shifts your identity, and prepares you to recognize and seize opportunities. Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. But the biggest transformation was still coming in month 3. Identity shift. The most profound change wasn't external, it was internal. Somewhere around day 65, I realized I'd stopped wanting my goals. I'd started expecting them. Identity. This is what manifestation teachers mean when they talk about becoming the version of yourself who already has what you want. It's not about acting or pretending. It's about a genuine shift in self-concept. I started making decisions differently, not from lack or desperation, but from assumption of success. I turned down opportunities that didn't align with my vision, something the old me would never have done out of fear. I invested in myself in ways that only made sense if I believed my goals were inevitable. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. This is the mechanism. When your identity shifts, your actions shift automatically. You don't have to force discipline or motivation. You simply behave in accordance with who you believe yourself to be, and the external world, it starts reflecting that internal change back to you. But how do you actually create this identity shift? That's what I learned in the final month. The blueprint. After 90 days, I distilled everything that worked into a simple blueprint. Not theory, not wishful thinking. A practical system based on what actually moved the needle. Step 1. Emotion first. Start every visualization with a feeling, not an image. Remember a time you felt successful and anchor that feeling before attaching it to your goal. Step 2. Evidence hunting. Every night write 3 tiny pieces of evidence that your manifestation is in motion. Train your brain to filter for proof of success. Step 3. Inspired action. Manifestation without action is just daydreaming. When you feel an impulse toward your goal, act on it within 24 hours. Step 4. Release attachment. This is counterintuitive, but the tighter you grip your desire, the more you signal lack. Want your goal, take action toward it, then detach from the timing. You must learn to let go, release the stress. You were never in control anyway. Step 5. Identity reinforcement. Ask yourself daily, what would the successful version of me do right now? Then do that thing. Small actions compound into massive identity shifts. These 5 steps transformed 90 days of experimentation into a sustainable practice I still use today. But let me share the ultimate result. The verdict. So did the law of attraction work? Here's my honest verdict after 90 days of dedicated practice. Yes, but not how most people think. I didn't manifest $1 million by sitting on my couch visualizing. But I did experience a fundamental shift in how I perceive reality, how I make decisions, and how I show up in the world. The measurable results: a 40% increase in income through opportunities I would have previously overlooked or dismissed. 3 major synchronicities that led to meaningful connections. And something you can't put a number on: peace. A deep knowing that I'm moving in the right direction. The law of attraction is real. But it's not magic, it's mechanics. It's psychology working through your reticular activating system. It's neuroscience rewiring your perception. It's identity shifting your behavior. And yes, maybe there's something more. Call it the quantum field, collective consciousness, or God. Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. What I know is this: your thoughts shape your focus shapes your actions, and your actions shape your reality. That's not mystical, that's practical. Here's what I want you to take from this experiment. The law of attraction isn't about wishful thinking or bypassing the work. It's about becoming intentional with the most powerful tool you possess, your mind. For 90 days, I trained my brain to look for success instead of failure, to expect opportunities instead of obstacles, to assume abundance instead of lack, and reality responded accordingly. You don't need to believe in magic to benefit from these practices. You just need to understand that your perception creates your experience. Change what you look for, and you'll change what you find. As the great Marcus Aurelius wrote, the universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. Your thoughts become things. Not because the universe is a cosmic vending machine, but because your thoughts determine your actions, and your actions determine your outcomes. So start today. 5 minutes of visualization with feeling, 3 pieces of evidence before bed, 1 inspired action toward your goal. 90 days from now, you'll look back and wonder why you didn't start sooner. Remember, you are not a victim of your circumstances. You are the architect of your reality. Stay aligned, stay abundant. If this experiment shifted something in you, hit subscribe and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Your transformation starts with a single thought.